Gravestone.
Welcome to Gravestone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Megan.
I'm Arthur.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Woo! If you're listening, it's probably one of your favorite days of the year. I wouldn't want to assume, but, you know.
But it is.
I'm guessing. It is... We're just doing a super special episode today, and we're recording on...
That's
recording
right.
on Halloween.
It's like the perfect weather for it. It's dark and it's rainy outside.
It has been raining. We are getting the aftermath of the hurricane a little bit on the East Coast, and I just got back from a business trip. I'm exhausted. And I feel like, you know what? I feel like this is something, and I'm going to riff for a minute, so I'm sorry, but I feel like this is something that people don't necessarily talk about enough when it comes to like loving horror and loving Halloween and this whole time of year, all of which I do, is that sometimes you, just because you're like, you love this time of year, you love this holiday, you love everything to do with this season, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be like going all out every year and having like some sort of like massive Halloween party or going to like some huge bash or anything. You know, sometimes you can just be having like a quieter night at home. And we've opted this year for a slightly quieter Halloween, but we're still going to have a good time. And it doesn't mean that we like the holiday any less. I don't know. I feel like, you know, like it winds up, you almost feel like you have to be performative about it. You don't.
No. You can do your own thing.
I think you can do your own
fine.
thing. Yeah. So to change things up a little bit, because we've all seen what like the release schedule has looked like for new films these last couple of months, and even into November, it's going to be insane. We decided to change things up for Halloween and do something a little fun and spooky and just a little bit different than what we've been doing previously. So we're going to play a little sort of truth or fiction type of game.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You can call it that.
And see who can win the pot of candy, which was the most logical choice for a trophy for us to come up with. So what we're going to do, or I guess the way that we're going to do this, is that we'll each play like a couple of rounds, and we are going to tell each other 3 small like story anecdotes of something spooky, something scary, maybe something Halloween related, we don't know. And we will tell each other 3. 2 of them will be true or based in fact, and 1 of them will be completely fictional, and we have just invented it.
Yeah, and you have to guess.
Yes, the other person has to guess. So if I'm telling 3 stories, Arthur has to guess which one of them is fake and which one of them are true or based in fact in some capacity. And we'll see if we can fool each other, basically.
And just get the candy. We just want the candy, really.
Yeah. If you guys want to play in our comments, you know, and just like add some funky stories to the comments, feel free to do that. We're at Gravestone Pod everywhere.
Yeah. Put it on whatever platform you're listening to. Put it on the socials, Gravestone Pod. You'll find this post. So yeah, do it.
Yeah. We've never done anything like this before. Like not this specifically. So I think this is going to be an interesting little experiment to see whether or not we're any good at storytelling at all.
Yeah, that's it. We'll try to make it a little bit more dramatized and stuff. So
we'll see
how that goes.
We'll see what we can do. Do you want to start? Do you want to go first?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm do it. Okay, so I have 3 stories. I am not going to tell what the source is from, but they are all real or not.
Or not.
So we're going to start with the first one, okay? It's the Halloween murders, because this story happened actually on Halloween.
Okay.
Okay? So picture this, all right? Use your imagination.
Yes, I'm closing my eyes. I'm setting the scene. Okay.
Set the scene, okay. It's Halloween night, 1981, okay, in Manhattan. In Chelsea, Manhattan. There's a narrow brown store building right on one of the streets, and it has a sort of a late night light artist thing in there, right? And in this building, by the moment, 2 people are dead. By the morning.
Oh, yes. Okay,
2 people are dead, right? So it was nighttime, and then you wake up, it seems like a normal street, and then bam, 2 people are dead. We have Ronald Sisman, who's a 39-year-old photographer.
Okay.
And Elizabeth Platzman, a 20-year-old student visiting from Smith College, right?
Okay.
Their names won't show up on costume roundups or parade clips, right? Only the police file that never quite closed that these names existed, right? So when the police stepped into Sisman's apartment, they find a scene that looks like a burglary, but not like a burglary, less like a burglary, but more of like a search, right? So like the drawers are dumped, furniture is overturned, negatives and papers are thrown everywhere. So like whoever came here wasn't really browsing; they were hunting for something. At least that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Ron and Liz have been badly beaten and then shot, basically execution style.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. All right.
So double murder is ruled a homicide, but almost everything else is kind of in a question mark because a lot of things don't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, why ransack a photographer's place? First of all, like he wasn't like someone super crazy or popular or whatever it is, but still. Early speculation kind of drifted towards the robbery or something drug related.
Okay.
Although that was kind of like never confirmed essentially. So despite the chaos, nothing obvious has been found to be missing also, which is weird, right? And no one who knew the couple can kind of really point to a clear motive. The police canvassed the neighborhood, they spoke to people, and then didn't really find anything. You know, the case was kind of like left as it is. But it gets a little bit weirder, okay? So listen to this. Because they didn't find anything, you know, they were trying to find some information, whatever it is, kind of a cold case in a sense. And then there's some kind of whispers that start to happen. From inside the prison that is there, right?
Okay.
The name that you would obviously recognize, David Berkowitz.
Berkowitz.
Son of Sam.
Son of Sam, yeah.
Right? He starts hinting that a cult knew that a planned Halloween double murder in Manhattan is going to happen. So apparently, according to one of the informants that is in the thing, in prison, right, that they were after a specific film, which apparently the images were tied to some other crimes. So like it was super sensational, it was super sticky, and it was perfect for like late night TV stuff, right? Which is kind of like some people lean into it in the papers or TV shows, whatever.
Okay.
But there was never really any public evidence of that to prove that story because it was an informant who told someone and stuff like that, right? And yeah, so like things seems to kind of outpace the facts and it was maybe more of a conspiracy. But it's weird because the guy, Sam, son of Sam, right? He said some very specific things. Like he said some very specific things about like the layout of the apartment. Like it seems like things were planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So almost 40 years later, 40 plus Halloweens later, essentially, we really just have a place and murder. So there's two victims. You know, he was kind of hustling in the photo scene, Ron, that is. Liz came from college to a loving New York at the edge of winter. Place was ransacked and execution-style double killing. The case remained unsolved.
Okay. I forgot we didn't. You know what? We didn't talk about this. Am I guessing true or false right away?
No, after.
Or after,
So just
all three.
keep it in your mind,
Okay.
and then, yeah, so that was number one.
The son of Sam case is extremely bizarre, and
I
there
know.
are multiple unanswered questions about it to do with David Berkowitz himself, as well as a lot of the other weird shit that happened later. So
Yeah, that's it.
okay,
So
you are.
pretty crazy.
These are so detailed. I'm just gonna say right away, I kept things very minimal because
Okay.
I don't want you to be able to guess what I'm talking about.
I wanted to like set a scene and have a mood, you know?
Oh, yours is gonna
So-
be like a lovely narrative, and mine's gonna be like 6 sentences and be like, guess.
Wow, okay, so you're just making it hard for me. That's
Listen,
fine.
you know what? I'm going to go into more detail if you guess correctly.
Okay, that's cool. I can do that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so number 2, right? So this is a story that comes from somewhere, and
Wow.
a lot of people, I guess, in the comments didn't believe it. Some believed it. Anyways, whatever. It is another Halloween night, right? And it's the story that a guy is telling who's much older now, but he was a little kid back at the time, right? So when he was little, his parents would let him watch TV on the weekends and stay up late because it was Halloween, right? And he really loved those times, and he would stay up late just because he could, and they wouldn't really say anything because again, weekends and Halloween stuff, right? So one night he was kind of almost asleep on the couch, and he heard a noise on the front porch. Strange, but whatever. It is also nighttime, right? It sounded like a sound of an old-fashioned porch swing moving back and forth type of thing. So you can imagine.
Okay.
So he was like, okay, I'm kind of a little bit scared, but he went towards the bay windows in the living room and kind of checked what's happening on the porch. And right on the porch was a swing which contained an older woman, probably like around in her 50s, whatever, wearing nothing but a nightgown. And she was covered in blood and holding a huge knife. Okay. So he's like freaking out thinking about this like he's a kid, right? So he's like freaking out and he's screaming. He's going to his parents' room, like super terrified and stuff. And he's like, yo, go check this out. This is somewhat crazy, right? And he was like freaking out and super upset, and was able to finally tell them what kind of happened. And the dad was like really angry because, come on, like that's just sounds insane, right? So he was like, no, you just had like a nightmare, whatever, just go back to bed. And then he was like, no, it was like, no, this is real. He was screaming and everything. And anyways, he finally dragged his parents towards the front door. And that was like, okay, well, look, I'm just going to prove it to you. I'm going to open it. There's going to be nothing there, right? Whatever. So the dad finally got to the door. He unlocks it, swings it open, and he's like, look, there is nothing there. And then the lady is there. She's standing behind the screen that is locked, hopefully. And she's there, and she's staring at both of them with a knife and a bloodied nightgown, right? So it was like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking intense. So the dad shuts the door, calls the mom to call the police, right? He gets his gun out, and he opens the door back and just kind of sticks the barrel at her. And the lady was just like, someone killed my husband, but it wasn't me. And the dad was like, okay, well, excuse me, lady, you need to leave my property because the police is coming and stuff like that, right? And she like kind of freaked out, grabbed the knife, and just walked away into the night, which was really strange. And then the police found her 15 minutes later trying to break into someone else's house.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Filing it away. I need to hear the third one.
File it away?
Yeah, filing it.
Cool.
Filing
Sounds
it. I need
good.
to hear the third one. Tell me the
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
third one.
Okay. So the third one is another one of those kind of like weird, I guess, unsolved disappearances in a sense, right? So it was happened somewhere by Niagara. So, put
On
a
the
little bit,
American or the Canadian side?
the Canadian side.
Got it.
Yes. So there was like a hatchback that was found. And on the dash, there was a day pass. So kind of normal, but, it was also the next morning. By the inside, there was nothing out of place. But by morning time, the car was still there, but the driver wasn't, right? Allegedly, the driver was Eva Moreno, 27, graphic designer from Toronto, who loved kind of trails and, big views, and wanted to explore and, I guess, essentially kind of take a hike, I guess. So she told her friends that she needed a quick reset and was kind of like one of those solo evenings where you kind of, watch the water and just really get some fresh air and stuff. She packed a light, as she always did, a day pack, and really her phone. But when the team searched and kind of like retraced her steps, they only found two things kind of like from her, which was a water bottle and a trail map, but really also no sign of struggle. That was probably in her bag, right? So it seems like on September 5th, 2019, in the early evening, right? So Eva kind of was supposed to do her hike or whatever it is and then check into a hotel, in a budget hotel that she booked previously, but she didn't. Her car was found locked, the day pack and the phone was missing, and there was no confirmed sightings after about 7 p.m. or so and around the area, So they kind of like, the investigators started to look around the terrain. It seems like everything kind of was fine. Again, not much struggle that was found. The rock was, solid but slick. I mean, you are, by a watery place.
Yep.
And the trails, like, they would dip and tilt. But anyways, if you know kind of like the area, you know not to approach those areas.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, is it possible? Maybe a misstep possible, right? In the evening, something slips, you fall, whatever, nothing's found. Really strange. Then there was another theory is that people kind of like said that, didn't want to sound unkind, but maybe she was kind of like a walk away, quote unquote, because she pulled cash the afternoon before and texted her friends that she needed a reset. She was kind of private, and maybe she had like the idea of starting fresh, right? But her passport and laptop were still at home, which is a little bit weird and maybe kind of deviates from that whole idea
Yeah.
because it doesn't make any sense. So also there's also no trail of tickets or rentals or like looking for another city or whatever it is, you know. So that's kind of strange. Another piece to the puzzle is that apparently there was a third party encounter, right? So two hikers heading back to their car remember seeing a silver SUV idling near closing, and a man asking, "Have you? Do you have any cameras down there?" Which is kind of like suspicious on the trail, you know.
Okay.
Really strange, but that was kind of towards closing of the park at dusk, you know, around similar time as well. So a little bit strange. But yeah, so like disappearance happened. No one really knows anything. Dots are really hard to connect. Walk away, no. Was there someone else asking really weird questions? Yes. But nothing has really been found.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So, now I could, you know, I don't know if you're trying to throw me for a loop with certain things. Okay, so I will say I'm quite sure that the first story that you told about the murder of the photographer and his girlfriend connected that David Berkowitz seemed to somehow have information about is real. I believe that that actually happened. And whatever followed after all that weird shit to do with the cult stuff possibly could have been part of the whole situation. Not that the cult existed, but like, you know, that there was like some connection to something.
That's almost cheating because you've watched so many true crime things
Yeah,
that
see,
like
that's
you
the
know
problem.
way too
You
much.
have to like not necessarily give me too much true crime stuff, particularly
I
not about the big
know.
ones. Like Son
Well,
of Sam is a huge.
It was hard to find. I mean, that
case.
connection is really weird if it
It's
happened,
very
you know,
tenuous. I know.
so-
I get you. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that one's true. Am
Okay.
I right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and, I guess, suss out and guess. I can't tell you. Neither of the other two stories I have ever heard at all. The only reason that I would be inclined to say that the false story or the fake story is the second one that you told about the woman with the knife is because you didn't name names and you gave less detail than you did in the Niagara Falls case about Eva Moreno. So that would be the only reason I'd be inclined to do that. So just because I genuinely have no idea, I'm going to say that story number 2 is the fake one.
You are incorrect.
Ah, really? Wow. You gave way too much detail about that. All I can picture is some woman going on a solo hike and accidentally slipping into the falls, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen.
Or
I
potentially,
guess.
unfortunately, choosing to, end their life or something. If there's something going on we don't know about,
That's
that
it.
kind of thing.
No, that one was from, I mean, look, it was from a Reddit thread, but it was also marked with serious, so that's supposed to be not people making up creepy shit.
Interesting.
But yeah, so...
I still question that because I question a lot of stories that people put on Reddit, but sure.
I mean, look, usually when there's a serious tag, it's supposed to be real.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's,
you know
it's
what?
just like weird things that happen to
It's nice to
people,
know
so-
that no one disappeared at Niagara Falls in on the Toronto side or on the Ontario side in 2019. That's
No,
nice.
no one did. That is actually very nice.
Okay.
I thought maybe the last one would be too much.
Well, that's what I started. Yeah, but
Or-
you had
and I was like,
almost
"Ew, I don't
you had
know."
almost as much detail as you did in the Son of Sam one. So I was like, I don't know.
My trick worked.
Okay. Okay, my turn. So, for this first round, all of mine are Halloween set as well.
Cool.
All of my stories. Okay, so the first story is about a young man who walked into his home on Halloween Day of 2010 and discovered what he initially believed to be a Halloween prank by his family, and that they were all pretending that like everybody had died, basically. And he walked in and assumed because it was Halloween that there was a prank happening. Unfortunately, it did not take him very long to realize that the 3 of his family members had actually been murdered in the home, and their bodies were still laying where they had been killed, shot and killed, I should say.
Damn.
And he, called the police, and there was an investigation, obviously, that happened, and it was quickly discovered that the 3 members of his family, his mother, stepfather, and brother, had been murdered by his other brother and left there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Where's the other brother?
I'm going to tell you after. If
Oh,
it's
okay.
true. If it's true, I'll tell you. If it's not, no, I'm not
I
going to
know.
tell you.
I want to know all the details. How am I supposed to know if it's true or not if I don't ask
That's
the
the point. I'm
questions?
keeping it vague. They're all just as vague as each other.
I am the investigator.
Exactly. Investigate with
Yeah,
little evidence.
No, that's why I'm asking questions.
You don't get to ask the questions.
You're impeding the investigation by not answering them.
True enough, because it's my podcast.
Wow. Appropriating podcast too, definitely.
Okay. So that's story number 1.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yep, that's all you're getting. Story number 2 is about a young family who was seemingly terrorized by an unseen entity on Halloween night of 1982. So this young family consisted of 2 parents and a young son who was about 6 years old at the time. After trick-or-treating had died down, so sometime after midnight, everyone had gone home. This was a small rural area, and there were not many families living on the street. Everyone had kind of gone to bed. There were street lights, but they weren't in, sort of easy reach, and there weren't very many of them down the street. After the family had gone to bed, they were woken up by sounds of scratching in various places around the outside of the house. So at first they ignored them, assuming that maybe people were playing a prank. But then eventually when they continued, the husband became kind of irate and ran outside, mind you, as the scratching was continuing in order to put a stop to whoever was doing this.
Yeah, they're ruining the paint of the house. God
Yeah.
damn it.
The siding people. But he found absolutely no one in the yard or in the surrounding area, around the street, anywhere. They had outdoor lights that they turned on. The scratching continued while the lights were on, and the family saw no one for the entire night, all the way through until sunup, when the scratching stopped and never happened again.
Okay.
Was something let out on Halloween night? Was there a spirit, perhaps, that was
Is it
released?
just Halloween night?
Yeah.
Spirit on rental?
Hey, it's when the spirits are supposed to be able to come out and do their thing,
Yeah, I
you know?
guess.
Yeah. And then my last story is about a 15-year-old girl who left her house one evening for a Halloween party, a costume party, and didn't return the next morning. She was found beaten to death outside. Someone had killed her using a golf club and left her body in the bushes, and she was discovered the next morning.
What more detail?
That's it.
What the fuck?
That's what I'm giving you.
It's not enough. How the hell am I supposed to know?
Exactly.
By love.
So,
Okay. The first one was about what again?
the first one was about the man who walked into his home and found his parents and his brother dead.
Right. Okay. I feel like... Okay, so I feel like the last one is true.
Okay. The girl who was beaten to death. Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
The thing with the second one is that, could be true, but then again, how was this information obtained? That's my question, is that someone just wrote this somewhere or whatever? It seems weird. You know what I mean? Did they report it to the police, but
Yeah.
nothing happened?
There was a police report that was filed due for mischief, basically, but there was never any information. This was a very small community, and there was never any information that came out to indicate who may have been involved in this. And no other houses on the street reported it either.
Okay. So I would say the last one's true. And then the first one is false. And then the second one is true.
You are wrong.
No, you're lying.
So the first story is true.
Damn it. Yo, seriously, I was on the fence about that one. I was
Yeah.
like, damn it. But I
So-
flipped at the last second.
Yeah, so I'll give a little bit more detail now that we've actually gone through them. So the first story is true. This really happened in 2010. Devin Griffin discovered the bodies of his mother, stepfather, and brother when he arrived home. He was a teenager, I believe. Their deaths were connected very quickly to Devin's other brother, who they named BJ, who had murdered his parents and his brother after years of struggling with untreated mental illness.
Oh, damn, okay.
BJ would be convicted of the crimes, but he would die in prison in March of 2015, 5 years later, in his cell from self-inflicted wounds. Yeah. The incorrect story is the second one about the scratching. I made that shit up.
Should have known.
I made that shit up.
I should have known. I'm like, crazy evil entities. That's not Megan's style. She's more like true crime and things that actually happen.
And
God damn it.
yeah, and the third story is in fact correct. It was Halloween in Connecticut in 1975. It was a young woman named Martha Moxley who had gone out to a Halloween party. And unfortunately, someone murdered her, it looks like, on her way home. 25 years later, a man named Michael Skakel, I believe is how it's pronounced, was convicted of the crime. He was also 15 at the time of the murder.
What the hell?
However, his conviction was vacated in 2018, and as of now, the case actually remains open.
How's that possible?
Don't
He
know.
was convicted based on what?
I don't know. That's the thing, is that, like, I think that there may have only been some circumstantial evidence, and so a number of years later, he was released after.
Oh, so he served and then he was
He did,
released.
yeah. 25
Oh.
years later, he was convicted, so 75.
Oh, damn.
You know, you would be, what, year 2000, and then he was let out, I think, 2018 or 2019. And in 2020, the case technically was reopened. Yeah, and there's been no other suspect, I don't think. So
Is there any reason or anything for this? Like, just
nothing. Yeah.
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Those are the worst ones.
Oh, it's horrible.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
A 15-year-old girl. You're like, why? I don't. What could she possibly have done to someone?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
I did like your stories, and I want more detail next time this happens.
I love that now you're
but-
like, isn't it funny how when you read a very brief true crime story, you almost want to start looking into it yourself?
Well, yeah, that's it.
Particularly an unsolved crime. I should
Exactly.
say.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones?
Okay, so I did kind of prep some other ones just for fun in case we
Okay.
wanted to do like a bonus. These ones are not really, they're not in the same vein like true crimey. They're like creature feature related.
They're all fake.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, some of them are based in actual fact, in actual things that took place.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's
all
find
right,
out.
Okay. But they're all like much more like legend-like, and they're old. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I
I
mean?
get it.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
creatures,
yeah.
like old stories of creatures. Like, you know how people have been like, oh, Bigfoot, blah blah blah,
Like
this and that.
cats?
Yeah, like cat. Oh, like like Mooncake, who's asleep with us because he's also tired on this Halloween night. It
Oh,
seems.
so tired.
Well, he's
Sleeping
spooky
day.
all year
Because he's all
automatically.
black.
Yeah. Okay. So my first story takes place in the early 1500s. I know. Okay. I'm giving you a history lesson at the same time. So, in which legend has it that a number of ships piloted by Spanish conquistadors were seemingly lured to their deaths while crossing the Atlantic by what were believed at the time to be sirens, which were bewitching the crews, steering them off course and causing them to run aground before they would actually reach their destinations of Cuba or Mexico. And this happened to roughly a dozen ships.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
can see that. If there's naked ladies in the water, yeah, you'll go in that direction.
Well, normally it's the song with sirens, isn't it? That's supposed to
Yeah, that's what they say.
lure them or whatever. Yeah, it's probably the naked chicks. It's true. Okay. My second story is set in 1922 in London, in which there were a number of mysterious attacks that occurred in which people were assaulted by an unknown assailant and seemingly stabbed in the neck by what appeared to be like a long, thin spike. So there were 3 attacks that occurred in a row, which led to a rumor that there was a vampire stalking the area.
Vampire that broke off his tooth.
Well, yeah, but
the
maybe they were
hell?
stabbed in 2 different places. This was a little unclear, but you know, this one's unclear.
It's like a vampire with a lisp.
Aw, what if he broke a tooth?
Exactly.
Poor little guy. Anyway, that's my second
I'm
story.
here to suck your blood.
Okay, sorry. And then my last story takes place in the 18th century in an area of France that was plagued by a series of over 200 attacks, roughly half of which were fatal. Over 100 of them were fatal, which were attributed to a large animal stalking the countryside, killing both other animals, I should say, like livestock, and humans, which people believed to be a werewolf.
Of course. Okay.
So what's fake? Is it the sirens, the vampire, or the werewolf?
Okay, so the thing is, if I'm going to logic this out,
Sure.
okay, the sirens thing, I feel like it might be true, but it's not the sirens. You know what I mean? Like, it's something else that
Oh,
happened.
you mean, yes, okay,
So,
I
like,
understand what you're saying.
I feel like those things did happen, but
You're
it
like, I'm
wasn't
not saying that sirens
actually-
exist. I'm saying that maybe this happened to those ships.
That's what I'm saying. So that is my answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
The vampire thing, yeah, I can totally see it happen, even though it's not vampire. It could be anything. Like, I mean,
A
that one.
person stabbing people. in the
Yeah,
neck,
exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that one's true. And then the last one, I mean, that just by default makes it also true. You know what I mean? Well, if there's the first one's fake, so.
I love you're like, are you fucking with me? And they're all true.
Are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
So then, yes, the first one's fake.
Okay, so you're right.
Ah,
That's not a thing. I had to remind myself roughly in what range, like Cortez and the conquistadors of that era were sailing to like Cuba
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Mexico and things, and it was like in the early to mid 1500s. So that was kind of how I reminded myself of that. But yeah, yes. So the vampire story, technically, that's it. This did happen. There were 3 attacks in 1922 in London on Coventry Street, and the assailant, who was never caught, they never figured
course.
out what actually happened to people or why, was dubbed the Vampire of Coventry Street.
Cool.
Yep.
Sure.
And
I mean, we've seen the Jack the Reaper thing. Like,
yeah,
the,
and listen,
the police back in the days was doing some shoddy job.
yeah, they did. Fuck, and also like they had nothing to work with.
No.
Yeah,
I
and this,
know.
I mean, this is 1922. This was years after Jack the Ripper, but I don't think it had gotten
Still,
much better at that
I'm
point.
just saying, I feel like okay, maybe like technology was a little bit more advanced, but back in the days, you show someone a mirror and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a ghost." You know
Yeah,
what I
pretty
mean?
much. Yeah, that's
Anything that seems mildly supernatural, that doesn't have a
She's
direct
possessed.
explanation. It's like, yeah, oh my god, she's
Oh my God, that's-
hysterical and possessed.
Yes, oh my God, the possessed. And you're like, man, people were just spontaneously hysterical all the time back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
explain that shit to me. Like, how women were just considered hysterical all the time. It's nuts. And I'm like, what, she cried at one point, so she's hysterical? I don't know. I feel like people were so repressed that they just, like, you know, eventually would lose their minds.
Crazy times.
And the final one was a real sort of series of occurrences that took place. The animal was dubbed La Bête de Gévaudan, or the Beast of Gévaudan.
Okay.
And I forget which particular province in France, but this took place, like I said, in the 18th century. In 1765, the French state itself declared its intentions to step in and slay the beast, which I can only assume was a large sort of wolf or bear
Yeah,
or something.
for sure, something like that.
And in June of 1767, a local hunter in the area shot a wolf that he came across, after which time the attacks did cease. However,
that tracks.
nowadays, historians in modern times do actually believe that the attacks were perpetrated by multiple wolves, not only one.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, look at
Hey,
that.
that was so fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which ones did you guys figure out if they were true or not?
Yeah, you know what?
Let
I
us
want to know if people had the same guesses
Yeah,
that we
that's
did,
it.
like the same sort of logic that we did, or if they went off in a completely different direction. So you can definitely let us know about that over at Gravestone Pod. I hope you are having or have had a really fun, spooky season. I hope it's been great and you're having a good time, hopefully even today.
Hell yeah.
November is here already, which I cannot believe the year goes by the way that it does. And we're heading into, that's it, a whole new month. We're going to try to hop into some new other types of episodes that we're kind of sprinkling in between releases and stuff now, because I think we're going to settle a little bit and have a little more time for that. So we can get into some stuff that's not just movie based, which I think will be fun.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do some books and video games because, like,
Yeah, we're really going to try, guys.
We
We're
need to,
gonna
yeah,
we're gonna
that's
push
it.
for that for sure. This is not meant to be just a horror movie podcast. This is a podcast for everybody who just enjoys horror in every format. That's what
That's
we're doing
it.
it for, including us. So anyway, hopefully that'll be coming your way soon. But in the meantime, stay scared and stay tuned.
ciao, guys.